When you get time and read through Matthew chapter 12, verse 42 up to 48, okay, Jesus himself chose to speak this thing. He wrapped it in a parable. Praise the Lord Jesus. And he was interrupted right there before he got deeper in it. His mother and his brother came up. Praise the Lord. And now they wanted to speak to him, bringing a diversion or distracting. In other words, they meant to tell him, don't you know? Praise the Lord Jesus. Why? Because some of these principalities are armed. Armed. We are dealing with such principalities. Progosh Kedila. They have such great authority. Remember, the queen of the south had business with Solomon. Solomon represents the leaders of this world. Praise the Lord Jesus. And at one point, it can affect the church, or the church itself can choose to substitute. Praise the Lord. Can choose to substitute and compromise with the things of God. That's why there is a blindness that can fall into the church, that you will not get to know the will of the Lord concerning that nation. Why? Because you have perverted the righteous or the judgment of God. Man, that is why now your worry should be that, in that place of judgment happening, because now there was an agreement in between Solomon and the queen of the south. Oh yeah, queen of the south, Progos Kedil. And Jesus himself said that queen shall judge, not God. Praise the Lord Jesus. Progoshata. So it will be so bad for the church of Christ to also be judged as the wicked, or among the wicked. Yet it is possible if you pervert the plan and the will of God. Ricochet Gedila, and you subscribe or substitute it with other things. There is a lot in it. I said some of these things I will not touch it. Praise the Lord. Because as I said, some of those principalities are armed and you don't just share a ground. But the issue here is, what about the purposes of God and the will? When the Lord, as I was praying, I found myself crying, tears coming out of my, the Lord stirred up that holy emotion. I wasn't even praying about South Africa, by the way. So when he told me Queen of the South, Queen of the South, I didn't understand it until he told me South Africa. And there is this lady who was called Zahara. She was a singer or a musician, something like that, of which I found out later that she passed out. She passed away, okay? But that woman was really anointed. She was anointed. And I think part of the plan and the assignment that God wanted her to do, she was not able to fulfill. And it would bring such impact to that nation. So when God sees that it is happening like that, praise the Lord. There is need for, so there is that part. Progosh. Ask yourself, why is it that South Africa is the country that is highly populated? Like worldly, on a world scale, it is the country that has the most HIV patients. People living with HIV AIDS positive. It is South Africa that is, highly populated with people having such. When I was talking to my brother about it, he lives there. He told me, well, here in South Africa, it's because these guys vetted, they have a vaccine, and they give it to you, but the vaccine is it goes for only 1 year. It is valid for 1 year. When 1 year ends, you go back, they vaccinate you again. And that when they vaccinate you, then you can't, that you can't get the disease, or you can't contract it, even if you're with someone who has it. And in my heart, I didn't speak much. I said, okay, but if it is really working, ask yourself, why would someone need to go back again for that vaccination? And why is it that it is still on the topmost, it is still the leading country with the most people affected with HIV/AIDS? There is a conflict of interest here. Landoro, and the church is not giving answers. When I'm talking about the Church of Christ, I'm not particulating. I know there are those that can heal, can do it. God would desire, also want to make it that each and every church of Christ, like if it is really of Christ and it is working in the will of the Lord, that all might be able to perform miracles, all might be able to heal, to have the healing gift. Praga Zokobra. So when you hear a healing city, it does not mean every day. But the Lord